Hello guys, and welcome to last of the summer whine. I'll begin with a whine of my own. I haven't been able to update the full stroke timeline much recently. I thought when I stopped writing for the Duran I'd have more time on my hands. If you can hear a beeping in the background, I'll have to get this fixed, but I can't do anything about it at the moment. It's my smoke alarm or my heat alarm. I think it's the smoke alarm. It's driving me crackers. It goes beep 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 every minute or so. I can't do anything about it, so I apologise for that. I thought when I stopped writing for the Duran I'd have more time in my hands. I won't go into any detail about that, but you know, writing 20 articles a month, 20 plus articles a month for a pittance was one thing, but doing it for nothing, no. I'm really disappointed with those guys. Since they're obviously raking in the bucks, but there you go. I thought I had more time on my hands, but I've actually got. I'm working on another project. Well, I'm putting together a website for someone. I'm not. Well, it's basically. I've got tons of lever arch files. I'm down to the last 7 now. Last 7 or 8 lever arch files I've been scanning and putting the information on the website. The scanning isn't really doing much. I'm having to key stuff in manually for the most part, but I need the space. I've got to get it on disk anyway to order it, because it's in, well, it's a silly project, but I'm getting paid for it, and I'm not contributing except the odd comment here and there and a bit of research, but it's taking up enormous amounts of my time, and it would, you know, to finish it would take years, literally years, and I haven't got that much time left. But hopefully I've got more time left to the guy whose project it is. I'll say no more than that. So that's by way of explanation why I haven't updated the full stroke timeline for a bit. I've got other videos to make and everything, but I will be hopefully adding a few more cases over the next week or two. Right, that's my whine. There's all sorts of whines here. I'll start with Saif Khan. I've mentioned this guy before. I can't remember. I think I had him to I think he was on the timeline at one. I can't be bothered to check the internet archive at the moment, but he appeared in a video by Louis Theroux, and at the end of it, he gave the impression of being a victim of this absurd Title IX in the United States. And he appeared in this video in which he claimed he was falsely accused, and at the end of it some other guy came forward and made some revelations about his attitude, and apparently he's won a case in a defamation case in the United States. I've looked briefly at the video on YouTube, but I'm not interested in this guy. He's total scum, and I'm not adding him to the timeline at all. Somebody who isn't total scum but is a total airhead is Emily Hunt. Before we go any further, I'll play a video of her which is on the Ministry of Justice website.
I think what's really exciting is that we're seeing victims being put at the heart of the criminal justice system. I was really privileged to be involved in the rape review. Here we are nearly 6 months on, and I think part of what the scorecards are showing us is that it's not good enough. We are simply not prosecuting enough rapes yet. I think the rape review progress report shows us some of the tasks that have happened, but it really highlights that this is not a done deal. The progress report shows the different tools that we're using and the progress we've made in all of it, but really, this is about making sure that more rape cases go to court. This is all about making sure that there are even more tools available and more ways to make sure that victims are taken seriously so that we can see criminals in courtrooms where they belong.
If you detect an American accent there, you're not wrong. Emily Hunt, in 2015, she claims to have been raped. She went to a hotel with a guy named Christopher Killick, and she woke up, claims to have no memory of her. Well, she claimed to have been raped. She woke up to find him taking photographs of her naked. There's actually CCTV of them going to the room. She wanted to prosecute for rape. He wasn't. She claimed the police bungled everything, but they were laughing. They were laughing at her. Killick was eventually dragged into court, branded a sex offender, and given a 30-month community order, a £2,000 fine, and £5,000 in compensation. He pleaded guilty to filming her illegally while she slept. And this stupid woman, her case was taken up by the misnamed Centre for Women's Justice, which is also known as Justice for Women. And they awarded her the 2020 Emma Humphreys Prize. You'll find Emma Humphreys on the timeline. She was a disgusting little tart, a prostitute, a serial false rape accuser, and a murderess. Okay, I've said elsewhere that I'll put a link to her. It was a tragic story. Her life was a tragic story, but a 17-year-old who stabs a man through the heart while he's sleeping, while he's lying on the steps in his home in a drunken stupor. I mean, that's... And they got this little monster out of prison. Not for long, because she overdosed about 3 years later. I'll put a link to her case on the timeline. Emily is... She was asked to participate in this rape review, and she's obviously dissatisfied. She left it. There was an article about her in The Guardian. Was she genuine about her amnesia? I'll put a link again to the page relating to Rodney Anderson, and follow the links from there, and you'll find out about drugs and alcohol. When I say drugs, I mean recreational drugs, prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs, alcohol, sexual flashbacks and amnesia, sexual assaults, phantom sexual assaults. I've actually got a very interesting, it's more of a bibliography, a short bibliography, about 13 or 16 pages, which I'll be adding to the timeline about alcohol and sexual assault and memory. I mean, maybe she blew our mind. The idea that she, I don't know, it would be tragic under other circumstances. She's physically gorgeous, but I think she's a bit of a slut because she'd had sex with another man earlier that day or something like that. Very soon, quite. She's a typical modern woman, but physically she's gorgeous. Sounds Amber Heard, so it doesn't say much. Beauty is only skin deep. So that's Emily Hunt whining about not enough rapes being prosecuted, alleged rapes. It's always alleged. Never forget that word, alleged. And if you've read this far, so to speak, if if this isn't your first video, you'll know first full scope timeline video. If you've studied the full scope timeline a bit, you'll realise that far from being a vastly underreported crime, rape is an overreported crime. It's not, women don't always get justice, that's true, but injustice cuts both ways. And if you want to know which is the worst, check out my video. Again, I'll put a link to this. It's called 2 Thought Experiments Concerning Rape. Anyway, that's Emily. Right, this is another bloke who won't be going onto the timeline. Sri Lankan cricketer Danushka Gunathilaka cleared of rape. He was accused of rape in America, in Australia. He met a woman online in 2022. They had sex and he allegedly removed the condom without consent, and he was charged with this. The definition of rape has expanded and continues to expand. This is something called stealthing, which, I mean, seriously, if condoms don't protect against anything. I mean, the woman accused him of various acts of aggression and violence, such as slapping on the buttocks, forcibly kissing her and bruising her lips and choking her during sex. Police brought 4 charges. Prosecutors later dropped 3 of those charges. Yeah, I mean, if you meet women online, I mean, this sort of thing is dangerous. It's dangerous for women because they don't get murdered. They can meet a potential Ted Bundy, and it's even more dangerous for men. But the danger to men is percentage-wise greater, because one of these women, these women are, a lot of them are sluts basically. She was probably a gold digger as well, and they could be accused of rape at any time, months, years later. And what are you going to say? What are you going to say? Just stay away from women like that, there are a lot of decent women out there, but you just have to lower your standards. Something else I should whine about, is that this absurd shadow banning. And it isn't just me, it's the Duran as well. I went to the search term here: Amber Heard, M-Nash, media feminist, 3 regular women. That's an article I wrote for the Duran. Put it in Google, in quotation marks, and 2 mentions come up as BitChute and YouTube. These are both my accounts. So the Duran is I won't say it's totally shadow banned, but it's unfairly marked as an unsafe site. There's a lot of this, and my videos are shadow banned to a degree on YouTube. Let's do a search here. If I do this full swept timeline, let's put that in quotes, and the first thing that comes up is a video about Harvey Procter, GB News, Weinstein trial. Assaulter throws acid on rape survivor in the top of the desk. Ugh. There's nothing by me until, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11th entry is hangout 20, then 95, 14, 19. I'm not totally deprecated, but I would have thought I would be at the top. There's a lot of stuff here about tonic immobility, which is rape-induced paralysis. That's had 155 views in 5 years. I'll have a look at that later. Yeah, that's garbage. Again, I'll put a link to my video about Jim Hopper, that crank, who authenticated, would you believe, not only Christine Blasey Ford, but that deranged woman who accused Donald Trump of raping her in Bergdorf Goodman. I'll put a link to that video as well. They shouldn't be deprecated to that extent. With regard to Emily Hunt and the rape review, there's an article here from the Daily Mail. She's in the Guardian as well. But the Guardian is far less trustworthy than the Mail. Government's rape czar claims there is no point to ever reporting a crime to the police again if she quits Britain to return to the US, and slams being used as a rubber stamp whose advice was ignored. Well, that video you heard doesn't say quite that, but I'm astounded they would appoint her to anything, actually. A rape czar. So she's back to the United States. Our gain is their loss. I don't feel safe in a place where if something happens to me, my first thought is, well, the police won't do anything about it. If you claim someone insults you on Twitter, they might do. No doubt about her pronouns are, though. Yeah, I mean, I do feel sorry for her, but she was tasked to advise the government on the rape review and action plan launched in June 2021. No, this is absolute nonsense. It really is absolute nonsense. You know, I mean, we've got all the modern technology. The way to you're never going to stop rape, but you're never going to stop murder. But the way to reduce it is to, first and foremost, to encourage women to take responsibility for themselves, to not go with strangers, cop off with strange men, and not to drink themselves senseless, and to use technology, you know, and for men to do it as well. Now, if you want to argue about increasing sentences, I'm not opposed to increased sentences for rape, but eroding due process, that's an entirely different matter. Read more. Police forces in England and Wales record the highest ever number of rapes and sexual offences in 2022. How many are real? I mean, 199,021 sex crimes logged by forces in the year to September 2022. I mean, what are these sex crimes? I mean, there was a bloke in London recently convicted of sexual assault for touching a schoolgirl's hair and telling her she was pretty. I mean, sexual assault. No, sexual touching, I mean, it was. I mean, there are some absolutely horrible cases, of course. There's it says here, mentions the David Carrick case, which, I mean, a serial rapist with a badge. There are currently 14,000 survivors on waiting lists for rape crisis services, showing the urgent need for long-term sustainable funding. No. You can whine about funding all you like. No, every rape crisis centre in the world should be shut down. If they can't be shut down, they should be denied national government, local government funding, charitable status. No, absolutely no. That actually may be the reason Russell Brand has been accused of rape. Again, I'll put a link to the previous video which I covered Brand, but the woman who is, if you read the information that's in the public domain, she went to the rape crisis centre initially because they'd had sex so-called unprotected sex. Again, you know, if you need to use a condom, don't have sex with that person, be you a dude or a dame. Need indeed. But initially she went there to get a free STD test, and after, it appeared, from what I could tell, it was after several sessions of therapy, she realised he'd raped her. It's batshit crazy, these women. But this is the feminist brainwashing. So no, definitely no more funding for rape crisis centres. To that I might add, you wish. This is an article from the Evening Standard one day ago. I think it was earlier this month or late last month. Absence of sexually related injuries can't be used in court to infer rape victims are lying. Study. Research finds that more than half of rape survivors have no detectable injuries. No. I mean, no. Rape is a crime of violence. It leaves bruises. It leaves. I mean, genuine survivors have bruises, not credibility issues, and very often so does the rapist, which is why the conviction rate for the conviction of men for rape is nowhere near as bad as. Just don't believe all this garbage here about the statistics. This is an article by Daniela Keane, researcher from the University of Birmingham, analysed the last 30 years of published medical research to compare anogenital injury, AGI. I hate it when they write a word or a phrase, and immediately afterwards they put brackets, the acronym. The Crown Prosecution Service, brackets CPS, and I just hate it when they do that. But it's standard practice for a lot of. Well, they found that more than half of rape survivors had no detectable injuries, even when examined by experts using forensic dyes and magnification techniques. This is another scam to increase the conviction rate. More than 67,000 rapes were recorded by police last year, but just 1.9% resulted in a charge, according to Rape Crisis. And if you believe Rape Crisis, I've got a bridge in Brooklyn I will sell you. Women may women may not disclose rape in the false belief that they won't be able to prove assault if there are no injuries to their genital area. And if they report this rape 3 months after they've had consensual sex or withdraw their consent afterwards, very likely won't be bruises. No, I'm sorry. Physical examination findings for women after sexual assault may be used in court as forensic evidence. Yes! However, the review found there is no case for discrediting allegations of rape based on intimate physical examination alone. And all this garbage about myths. Check out the false rape timeline, including the various entries for so-called rape myths. This is just complete garbage. Also, check out the timeline hangout, exculpatory evidence. This is from the Far East. This was in the Straits Times, also a newspaper called Today. Woman who falsely accused man of assault, sentenced to 6 weeks jail, is actually sexual assault rape. The deceit was exposed after the admin officer, Nicole Chung Jin Wen, left the company Raffles Human Resource and recanted the statement she'd given earlier. So, you know, women who falsely accuse men of rape are not, they're not always total cunts, unlike Amber Heard and her supporters. And they do have conscience. This is the reason a lot of men's rights activists, of which I'm not one, a lot of MRAs claim that, and other men say that a woman who falsely accuses a man of rape should receive the same sentence as he would have got. But no, you can't do that, because, you know, if a woman does falsely accuse a dude of rape and she thinks she may get a heavy fine or maybe a suspended sentence, she may recant. But if she thinks she's looking at 15 years or a life sentence, she's hardly likely to. So no. Now, that hasn't been added to the timeline yet. I will add it at some point. Now, this is a very interesting case. I'll definitely be adding this to the timeline when I find the Court of Appeal judgment. There's a similar case to this, though not an historical one. This is from the Western Telegraph, 19th of May. Fishcard man cleared of 16 historical child sex offences. Now, this is the Fishcard man has been acquitted of a series of historical child sex offences in a retrial at Swansea Crown Court. I'm glad they said historical instead of the grammatically incorrect historic. Brian Buckle, 51, faced 12 charges of indecent assault, 3 of indecency with a child and 1 of attempted rape, all dated between March 31st, 1993 and April 1st, 1996. Each of the allegations involved the same complainant. Buckle, then aged 45, had been convicted of these same offences in 2017, when Swansea Crown Court sentenced him to a combined 33 years in prison to be served over a 15-year period. That is consecutive sentences. So if a judge gives a man a 10-year sentence and a 5-year sentence consecutively, that will be 15 years. But usually it's concurrent, which means it will actually only be 10 years maximum. A retrial was ordered by the Court of Appeal last year. Following a 2-week trial at Swansea Crown Court, the 11-strong jury returned a not guilty verdict on each of the counts after just over 4 hours of deliberation. The prosecution had alleged that Buckle sexually abused the complainant, who at that time was aged between 8 and 10, and forensically linked her to the complainant through traces of his semen on her childhood diary. Now, this is where it gets very interesting. The defendant denied all of the charges and insisted he was being set up. "I never sexually abused or physically or mentally abused the complainant in brackets, because she's anonymous," he told the jury. His barrister argued that he'd never seen the diary, which he dubbed the invisible diary, before the 2017 trial, and said that Buckle's DNA must have been planted on it, potentially from a used condom. This sounds like fantasy stuff, you know. But forensic chemist Dr. Candice Bridge analysed the semen in the diary and gave evidence that elements of lubricant used in condoms were present. The complainant was asked why she had not ever reported the allegations to the police. The charges came to light in 2015 when the complainant's dad told police in an unrelated police interview. That's the sentence. The charges came to light in 2015 when the complainant's dad told police in an unrelated police interview. She said she'd only had bad experiences with the police throughout her life. Yeah, probably with good reason. It's because the defendant did not do these things, countered the defence barrister. There's a case like that on the timeline of, let me find it, it's January 21st, 2004. Maria Marchese accuses consultant psychiatrist Jan Folkowski of raping her in 2002. This is an absolutely extraordinary case involving, inter alia, the fabrication of forensic evidence. Brackets, I won't ask why the good doctor was using condoms while having sex with his then future wife. Yeah, she foraged in a dust. It's just unbelievable. There's a documentary about it called You Be Dead. You, not Y-O-U, but you. So, I mean, that is a quite incredible case. I'll definitely be adding that to the timeline. There's obviously things about that which, not just because there's sort of a double shield around enmity, really. she's anonymous because she's a complainant. She's anonymous because she was under the age of. It was absolutely incredible. Yeah, I mean, women do go to extraordinary lengths to frame men for rape and for abuse. We've actually got video evidence of that. There's cases of women who've inflicted serious injuries on themselves. And so sometimes I've done it gratuitously. There was the case on the timeline, not a rape case, of what's her name, Bethany Storrow, claimed a woman threw acid in her face, and I put her on the timeline because it's an example of madness. You know, hate crime hoaxes, not the Justice Smollett type hate crime hoaxes, but women and at times men who are seriously disturbed that they do these things. But that is quite incredible, that case. I should mention the Brenda Tracy case. This isn't a rape allegation, or not another one, should I say. But this odious woman, she's on the timeline. She claims to have been raped by 4 black dudes, and she's accused a black sports coach or something of sexual harassment. As if, no, she's trash. Well, she's got this bloke sacked anyway. Right, I just mentioned one more article. I'll take this off. It's very hot here for October. This is not new, but this is something that I haven't covered this article before. This is from May the 4th. Why are Scottish lawyers threatening to boycott rape trials? Yeah, Rape Crisis Scotland, an odious organisation, is pressuring the government to abandon jury trials, to have judge-only trials in rape cases. They've got this in Canada, where, as I've said before, Canada is the worst country in the world to be falsely accused of any sexual offence. This is from the BBC website, May the 4th. Some law firms and local bar associations have already said they will not take part in the pilot. Yeah, pilot. Planned to hold trials for serious sexual offences without a jury in Scottish courts are facing a growing backlash from lawyers. Yeah, I mean, if they get one brainwashed judge, one feminist judge, and judges are very often biased against defendants anyway, whatever case, yeah, I speak from personal experience. Evil bigoted old bastard who tried me in 1997. He summed up. It wasn't, just in case you get any ideas, it wasn't sexual. Nothing sexual about this. He summed up for the prosecution, and the jury was out for about 7 hours and found me not guilty on both counts. They're just horrible people. Some of these judges. Well, not all judges, but that one is dead now. He was a complete cunt. Burn in hell. But if you get a bad judge, here we are. The Scottish Government believes this is partly because jurors can be influenced by rape myths, in quotation marks, outdated attitudes that prejudice how they view the case and whether or not they believe the alleged victim is telling the truth about not having consented. Yeah. Again, rape myths means believe women. If a woman tells you she was raped, believe her. Yeah, if a 14-stone weightlifter claims to have been physically overpowered and raped by a 7-stone cystic fibrosis sufferer, believe her. Why would a woman lie? I mean, this whole business is about consent. Candice Owens made some excellent comments about consent, and Camille Parlier, the Woody Woodpecker of Reason. You'll find her. I might put a link to that on the timeline. Her views on date rape. Yeah, this is what does the government want to do about it? The issue was examined in detail by senior Judge Lady Dorian, who recommended that a time-limited pilot project be held to examine whether holding juryless trials would be more effective. In other words, lead to more convictions. This is outrageous. The government included the proposal its victims, witnesses and justice reform (Scotland) bill, which was published in April. Yeah, I mean these and as well. This is from September 6th last year. Scotland's not proven verdict set to be axed. Yeah, I mean, this is again, this is pressure from Rape Crisis Scotland. Check out my video, These Bitches Are Playing You, which explains the perfidy of this organisation. Anyway, that's about all I have to say. That's me whining and other people whining. I will edit this video and get it up within a day or two, and hopefully after that I'll be adding quite a few more to the timeline this month. I've got plans for next month which I won't go into. Anyone wants to contact me, you know where I am, and my apologies for the creaking table.